Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house had always been a test of patience, but this year was proving especially challenging. My brother Derek had been making pointed comments all evening about my mysterious lifestyle and secretive behavior, working himself up to something. I could see it in the way he kept glancing at his phone, that self-satisfied smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. "So, little brother," Derek said, setting down his fork with exaggerated casualness. "I finally figured out what you've been hiding." I looked up from my plate where I'd been focusing intently on my turkey. "Is that so?" "Oh, it absolutely is so," Derek continued, his voice getting louder, drawing the attention of everyone at the table. "Mom, Dad, our sister Rachel and her husband Tom. I've been watching you for the past 2 years. Always dodging questions about where you live, what you do, why you're never available for family events. I decided it was time to get some answers." My hand tightened slightly on my fork, but I kept my voice level. "Derek, what did you do?" "What I should have done a long time ago," he announced, pulling out his phone. "I followed you home last month. Watched which apartment you went into. Then today, while you were on your way here, I paid your place a little visit." The table went silent. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Rachel looked shocked. Dad's expression was harder to read, somewhere between concern and curiosity. "You broke into my apartment," I said quietly. "It wasn't a question." "Your door wasn't exactly Fort Knox," Derek laughed, starting to swipe through photos on his phone. "Took me maybe 2 minutes to pick the lock. And you know what I found? Your mysterious home office that you're always so secretive about." He turned his phone toward the table, showing a photo of overturned furniture, scattered papers, and open drawers. My stomach dropped, but I kept my expression neutral. "Ransacked the whole place," Derek continued, his smugness reaching new heights. "Went through every drawer, every file, every locked cabinet. You want to know what I discovered? Nothing. Absolutely nothing interesting. No secret business documents. No evidence of whatever shady dealings I was sure you were involved in. Just boring paperwork, a laptop with a password I couldn't crack, and some seriously paranoid security measures for someone who claims to be a freelance consultant." "Jesus, Derek," Rachel breathed. "You actually broke into his home?" "He's been lying to this family for 2 years." Derek shot back. "Mysterious phone calls. Sudden relocations. Never telling us where he lives. I had every right to find out what he was hiding." Dad cleared his throat. "Son, Alex, Derek does have a point. You've been very secretive. Can you blame him for being curious?" I set down my fork carefully, pulling out my phone. "Excuse me for a moment. I need to make a call." "Oh, here we go," Derek rolled his eyes. "Another mysterious phone call. Let me guess, you need to step outside to take it? Can't let the family hear your conversations." I ignored him, standing up from the table and walking toward the living room while dialing. The phone rang twice before a familiar voice answered. "Deputy Marshal Chin. It's Alex Morrison. Code Phoenix. We have a critical security breach at my safe house location. Subject's brother conducted unauthorized entry and search approximately." I checked Derek's photos. 3 hours ago. Multiple photographs taken. Unknown if location has been compromised to additional parties. The temperature in the dining room seemed to drop 20 degrees. I could hear Derek's smug expression faltering behind me. "Alex, are you in a secure location right now?" Chen's voice was instantly professional, alert. "Negative. I'm at the subject's family residence. The family is present, unaware of the situation. Do not move. Do not leave that location. I'm dispatching a team immediately." "What's the address?" I provided my parents' address, acutely aware of the complete silence behind me. "Team is en route. ETA 12 minutes. Alex, I need you to secure all individuals present. Nobody leaves that residence until we arrive. Is that understood?" "Understood. And Alex, this is bad. This is really, really bad. You know what this means." "I know." I ended the call and turned back to the dining room. 6 faces stared at me with expressions ranging from confusion to dawning horror. Derek's smugness had completely evaporated. "Nobody leaves," I said calmly, returning to my seat. "U.S. Marshals are en route." "U.S. Marshals?" Mom's voice was barely a whisper. "Alex, what's going on?" "What's going on?" I said, my voice still calm but carrying an edge now. "Is that Derek just committed a federal crime. Multiple federal crimes, actually. Breaking and entering into a federal witness protection safe house. Photographing classified security arrangements. potentially compromising the location and identity of a protected witness. Derek's face had gone from red to white in seconds. Witness protection? You're joking. This is some kind of elaborate prank. I'm not joking, Derek. My name isn't Alex Morrison. It hasn't been for 2 years. I've been in the federal witness protection program since I testified against the Castellano crime family in a RICO case. That home office you ransacked? That was a federally maintained safe house with documented security protocols. Every drawer you opened, every file you photographed, every lock you picked, all of it was federal property and all of it was monitored. The color drained from Rachel's face. The Castellano family? Aren't they one of the largest organized crime syndicates on the East Coast? Yes, I confirmed. I witnessed a murder 2 years ago. Not just any murder. I witnessed Vincent Castellano personally execute a federal informant. I was working late at my accounting firm, happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I saw everything. My testimony put Vincent and 6 of his associates away for life. Tom spoke for the first time, his voice shaky. Jesus Christ. Alex, or whoever you are, you testified against the mob. My real name is Marcus Webb, I said. I was Marcus Webb. Now I'm Alex Morrison, living in a federally protected safe house, with a completely new identity, because the Castellano family has $1 million contract out on my life. Dad had gone very still, his face ashen. Son, why didn't you tell us? Because that's not how witness protection works, Dad. The whole point is that nobody knows who you really are or where you really are. The marshals made an exception, allowing me limited contact with immediate family, but even that was conditional. You knew I'd relocated for work. You knew I had a new job. That was all you were cleared to know. But we're your family. Mom protested, tears starting to form. We had a right to know you were in danger. No, Mom, you didn't. Because the moment you knew, you became a potential security risk. Every phone call becomes a liability. Every family gathering becomes a tactical concern. The marshals advised complete separation, but I negotiated for limited contact because I didn't want to completely disappear from your lives. Now I'm realizing that might have been a mistake. Derek found his voice again, though it came out strangled. I didn't know. How the hell was I supposed to know? You weren't supposed to break into my home, Derek. You weren't supposed to stalk me, follow me, and conduct an illegal search of my residence. Those are things normal people don't do, federal witness protection or not. You've been so secretive. Derek's voice was rising with panic now. Always dodging questions, never being available, acting like you had something to hide. I thought you were involved in something illegal or having an affair or, I don't know, but not this. So your solution was to commit multiple felonies to satisfy your curiosity, I said flatly. How did you think this was going to end, Derek? What was your best-case scenario? He had no answer. Rachel leaned forward, her voice urgent. Alex, Marcus, whoever you are. What happens now? What are the marshals going to do? At minimum, Derek will be arrested and charged with breaking and entering, tampering with federal property, and potentially compromising a protected witness. Depending on the prosecutor, he could be looking at 5 to 10 years in federal prison. The photographs on his phone will be seized as evidence. His electronics will be forensically examined to determine if he shared the information with anyone else. He's your brother. Mom cried. Surely you can explain that he didn't know, that it was just a misunderstanding. Mom, there's no, just a misunderstanding in federal witness protection. Derek broke into a safe house that's part of an active protection program. Even if he genuinely didn't know what it was, the security breach is real. The marshals have to assume the worst-case scenario, that the location is now compromised, that my identity might be exposed, and that the Castellano family could learn where I've been living. But he wouldn't tell anyone. Dad insisted. Derek, tell them you haven't told anyone about this. Derek's silence was damning. Derek. Rachel's voice was sharp. Derek, who did you tell? I might have mentioned it to a few people, Derek admitted, his voice barely audible. I was excited about finally cracking your secrets. I told Sarah. Your girlfriend who posts everything on social media, I said, my voice cold. And maybe Jake and Chris at the bar last week. But I didn't give them the address or anything specific. I just said I'd figured out where you lived and was going to check it out. I closed my eyes, feeling the full weight of the situation settling over me. Derek, do you understand what you've done? You told multiple people that you'd located your brother who'd mysteriously relocated 2 years ago. You told them you were going to break into his apartment. Then you took photographs and, I'm guessing, shared them with at least some of those people. Derek's continued silence was answer enough. Sarah, Jake, and Chris, I continued. 3 people who now know that Alex Morrison, who lives at a specific apartment complex, is somehow connected to Derek Morrison's mysteriously relocated brother. How long do you think it would take a professional investigator, or a professional hitman, to connect those dots? I didn't mean, Derek started. It doesn't matter what you meant. I snapped, my composure finally cracking slightly. Intent is irrelevant when you've potentially exposed a federal witness to organized crime assassins. The Castellano family has resources, Derek. They have people who monitor social media. They have people who investigate rumors. They have $1 million riding on finding me, and you just gave them a trail of breadcrumbs that leads straight to my location. The sound of vehicles pulling up outside made everyone jump. Through the window I could see 3 black SUVs with government plates. Car doors slammed in rapid succession. That's them, I said, standing up. Nobody move. Let me handle this. The doorbell didn't ring. There was just a sharp, authoritative knock that made it clear this wasn't a request. I opened the door to find Deputy Marshal Chin flanked by 4 other U.S. Marshals, all wearing tactical gear and very serious expressions. Deputy Marshal Chin, I greeted him. Alex. He nodded curtly, then addressed the room beyond me. U.S. Marshals Service. Everyone remain seated with your hands visible. We need to secure this location and question everyone present. The marshals filed in with practiced efficiency. 2 immediately moved to secure the exits. Another began photographing the scene. Chin approached the dining room table where my family sat frozen. Which one of you is Derek Morrison? Chin asked, though his tone suggested he already knew. Derek raised his hand shakily, just like he had when he was a kid being called on by a teacher. That's me. Mr. Morrison, I need to see your phone. Now. Derek handed it over without protest. Chin scrolled through the photos, his expression darkening with each swipe. You took 43 photographs of a federal safe house. You posted 6 of them to your Facebook account with the caption, "Finally found out what my secretive brother has been hiding." Those posts have been shared 17 times and have over 100 comments. Oh my God, Rachel whispered. Chin looked at Derek with an expression that somehow managed to be both furious and weary. Mr. Morrison, do you have any idea what you've done? I didn't know it was a safe house, Derek said, his voice cracking. I thought he was just being paranoid or hiding something. I didn't know about the witness protection thing. I didn't know about the mob. I just wanted to know why my brother was being so secretive. Your wants and your ignorance don't change the facts, Chin said coldly. You committed breaking and entering. You photographed federal property. You distributed those photographs publicly. And in doing so, you've potentially compromised an active witness protection case and endangered your brother's life. Mom started crying in earnest now. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in the last 10 minutes. Rachel was holding Tom's hand so tightly her knuckles were white. Another marshal approached Chin and whispered something. Chin's jaw tightened. Are you certain? Sir. The social media posts have been picked up by at least 3 true crime forums. One user has already identified the apartment complex based on visible details in the photos. Chin turned back to Derek. Derek Morrison, you're under arrest for violations of federal law, including breaking and entering of federal property, tampering with witness protection security measures, and reckless endangerment of a protected witness. You have the right to remain silent. As Chin read Derek his rights, another marshal approached me. Alex, we need to move you immediately. This location is compromised. We're implementing emergency relocation protocols. How long do I have? 20 minutes to grab essential items from your current safe house. Then you're being moved to a secure facility until we can arrange a new placement. Your current identity is burned. We'll need to start over with a new name, new location, new everything. I nodded, having known this was coming the moment I understood what Derek had done. What about my family? They'll be questioned, their electronics seized for examination, and they'll be under surveillance until we're certain the Castellano family hasn't made contact. If we determine there's a credible threat, they may need protective custody as well. Rachel found her voice. Protective custody? We're in danger now too. The marshal turned to her. Ma'am, your brother posted photographs of a federal safe house on social media. Those posts have been shared and commented on extensively. It's possible that the Castellano organization has already seen them. If they decide to use your family as leverage to find Alex, Marcus, then yes, you could be in danger. This can't be happening, Mom sobbed. This is Thanksgiving. We're supposed to be having dinner. This can't be real. Mrs. Morrison, Chin said, his voice slightly gentler now. I understand this is overwhelming. But I need you to understand the gravity of the situation. The Castellano family is not a group of petty criminals. They're a sophisticated criminal organization with resources, connections, and a very strong motivation to find your son. Vincent Castellano is serving 3 consecutive life sentences because of Marcus's testimony. His brother Anthony Castellano has publicly sworn revenge. The $1 million contract on your son's life is very real, and the people who want to collect it are very dangerous. What happens to Derek? Dad asked, his voice hollow. That depends on several factors, Chin replied. His cooperation with our investigation. Whether the photographs he took and distributed lead to any actual security incidents. Whether your son's new location is compromised as a result of this breach. At minimum, he's facing federal charges that carry substantial prison time. At maximum, if anything happens to Marcus as a result of this breach, Derek could be charged as an accessory to murder. Derek made a strangled sound. A female marshal was already cuffing his hands behind his back. Derek, I'm so sorry, Derek said, looking at me with genuine terror in his eyes now. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I was just angry that you were shutting us out. I thought you were being selfish or hiding something bad. I never imagined. I know, I said quietly. But knowing you didn't intend this outcome doesn't change the fact that it's happening. You made a choice to break into my home. You made a choice to photograph it. You made a choice to post those photographs publicly. Every one of those choices led directly to this moment. What happens to you? Rachel asked me, tears streaming down her face. Do we ever see you again? I don't know, I admitted. The marshals will have to assess the risk level. If they determine that continued family contact is too dangerous, then no. You won't see me again. I'll simply disappear, and Alex Morrison will cease to exist along with Marcus Webb. That's not fair, Mom protested. You witnessed a crime. You did the right thing by testifying. Why should you be punished by losing your family? Because the alternative is being dead, Mom. The Castellano family doesn't forgive and they don't forget. I knew the risks when I agreed to testify. I made peace with potentially losing everything 2 years ago. I'd hoped I could maintain some connection with all of you, but Derek's actions tonight have made that impossible. The marshal who'd been talking to me earlier returned. Alex, we need to move. No. Our surveillance team has picked up unusual activity near your safe house. We can't confirm it's Castellano related, but we're not taking chances. I nodded, then looked at my family one last time. Mom was still crying. Dad looked broken. Rachel was holding herself together, but barely. Tom just looked stunned, like he couldn't quite process what was happening. And Derek, now handcuffed and flanked by marshals, looked like his entire world had collapsed. I'm sorry, I said to all of them. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you the truth. I'm sorry my situation has pulled you into something dangerous. And Derek, I looked at my brother directly, I'm sorry that your curiosity and your inability to respect boundaries has led to this. I hope you understand eventually that this isn't something I'm doing to you. This is something that's happening because of choices you made. Please, Derek whispered. Please don't let them take me. I'm your brother. You were my brother when you decided to break into my home, I said, my voice steady despite the pain in my chest. You were my brother when you posted those photographs online. You were my brother when you told multiple people about your plans. Being my brother didn't stop you from doing any of those things. It doesn't erase the consequences now. Chin gestured to the marshals holding Derek. Get him out of here. Take him to the field office for processing. I'll be there shortly to conduct a full interview. As they led Derek out, he twisted to look back at me one more time. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond. What was there to say? After Derek was gone, Chin addressed my parents and Rachel. All of you will need to come to our field office to provide statements. Your phones, computers, and any other electronic devices will be seized for examination. You'll be asked to provide detailed information about everyone Derek might have told about this situation. Do you understand? They nodded numbly. We'll also be placing surveillance on your homes and monitoring your communications for the next several weeks at minimum. If anyone contacts you asking about Alex Morrison or Marcus Webb, you report it immediately. If anyone you don't know starts showing unusual interest in your family, You report it immediately. If you notice anything suspicious, anything at all, you report it immediately. Your lives may depend on it. Deputy Marshal Chin, Rachel said, her voice shaking, is my family really in danger? Is this really as serious as you're making it sound? Chin looked at her with an expression that was almost sympathetic. Ma'am, I've been with the Marshal's service for 15 years. I've worked witness protection cases that whole time. The Castellano family is one of the most dangerous organizations we deal with. They've killed federal witnesses before. They've killed witnesses' family members before. They've killed people who were even tangentially connected to cases against them. So yes, this is really as serious as I'm making it sound. Maybe more serious. He turned to me. Alex, we need to go. Your escort is ready. I looked at my family one last time. I love you all. I'm sorry it ended like this. Take care of each other. Mom stood up, moving toward me, but a marshal gently intercepted her. Ma'am, please. We need to move the witness immediately. Please, Mom begged, looking at me. Please be safe. Please don't disappear forever. You're my son. I can't lose you. I'll be as safe as the marshals can keep me, I said. But Mom, you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that you might not see me again. Derek didn't just compromise my location, he compromised everything. My entire identity might need to be buried and rebuilt from scratch. Chin put a hand on my shoulder. Time to go. I followed him out to one of the SUVs, flanked by armed marshals. As we drove away, I looked back at my parents' house, watching my mother collapse into my father's arms on the front lawn, Rachel and Tom standing helplessly beside them. In the SUV, Chin handed me a tablet. We need to start documentation of everything you remember about the safe house setup, your routines, anyone who might have seen you regularly. We're also going to need a complete list of everything Derek had access to. He photographed everything, I said. Every room. Every drawer he opened. All the security measures I'd installed. We know. We've already started analyzing the photos. The good news is that most of the security measures aren't visible in the images. He didn't know what to look for. The bad news is that the layout is clear, and anyone with experience could use that information to plan an approach. What are the chances that the Castellano family has already seen the photos? Chin hesitated. We're operating on the assumption they have. It's been 3 hours since Derek posted them. That's more than enough time for the information to reach interested parties. So my safe house is completely compromised. Not just your safe house, Alex. Your entire identity in that city is compromised. Every place you regularly visited, every person you interacted with, every routine you followed, all of it has to be considered burned. We're starting over from scratch. I nodded, feeling the weight of what that meant. 2 years of building a life, creating an identity, establishing routines. All of it gone in a single afternoon because my brother couldn't respect boundaries. What happens to Derek? I asked. That's up to the federal prosecutor, Chin replied. But between you and me, he's looking at serious time. Breaking and entering of federal property alone is 5 years. Add the witness protection violations, the security breach, the social media distribution, he could be facing 10 to 15 years, easy. If anything happens to you as a result of this breach, those charges escalate significantly. He didn't know what he was doing. Doesn't matter. Ignorance isn't a defense for federal crimes. He made a conscious choice to break into your home. He made a conscious choice to photograph everything. He made a conscious choice to post those photographs publicly. Every single one of those choices was illegal, witness protection or not. The fact that his illegal actions compromised a federal witness just makes it exponentially worse. We drove in silence for several minutes before Chin spoke again. For what it's worth, Alex, I'm sorry. I know you negotiated hard to maintain family contact. I know how much it meant to you. This is a worst-case scenario. It is what it is, I said. I knew the risks. I just didn't expect the threat to come from my own brother. Family is often the weakest link in witness protection, Chin said. Not because they're malicious, but because they don't understand the stakes. They think they have a right to information, a right to know where you are and what you're doing. They don't grasp that those rights can get you killed. My phone buzzed, the encrypted phone the marshals had provided. A message from the relocation team. Apartment clear. Packed essentials. Ready for transport to temporary facility. That's that then, I said. Alex Morrison is officially dead. We'll create a new identity for you, Chin assured me. New name, new location, new background. We'll do everything we can to keep you safe. I know you will. You've been good to me, Chin. I appreciate it. Just doing my job, he said, but there was something almost warm in his voice. Though I have to admit you're one of the better witnesses I've worked with. Most people in your situation would be falling apart right now. You're handling this with remarkable composure. Falling apart won't change anything, I said. My brother made his choices. I made mine when I agreed to testify. Now we both live with the consequences. As we drove toward the secure facility where I'd spend the next few weeks while the marshals arranged my new life, I thought about Thanksgiving dinner. The turkey that never got eaten. The family gathering that ended in handcuffs and tears. The brother who'd thought he was uncovering secrets and instead destroyed lives. Derek had wanted to know what I was hiding. Now he knew. And that knowledge had cost him his freedom, endangered our family, and erased whatever relationship we might have salvaged. I wondered if, years from now when he was released from federal prison, he'd think it was worth it. If his curiosity had been satisfied. If he'd learned anything from the experience. But mostly I wondered if I'd ever see any of them again. My mother's tears. My father's broken expression. Rachel's fear. Tom's shock. Those images would be the last memories I had of my family as Marcus Webb. Tomorrow I'd wake up with a new name in a new place with a new life. And Derek would wake up in a federal holding cell facing a decade or more in prison. All because he couldn't respect a locked door. The consequences of Thanksgiving 2024 would echo through our family for years to come. But at least I'd still be alive to remember them. That was more than Vincent Castellano's informant could say.